Good morning. This is Brother Jacob, your pastor at Calvary Baptist Church here in Bogue Chitto, Mississippi. It's so good to see y'all this morning. I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday, and I know I am. I was climbing the hill over there by our church. Behind our church is a pretty steep hill, and I was walking up it the other day, and it reminded me of a hill from my high school days when I played football in high school for the Calhoun City Wildcats. One of the various forms of conditioning that our coaches would put us through at the end of practice for maybe the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes depending on how well we did, 40 minutes of practice, we would condition by running the hill. And it was a steep hill over beside our high school, and we would have to run that. And the purpose of that was to get us to where we could survive the fourth quarter when you're down by 7 and you got to make that comeback and then that scoring win as well. And so we would lean on that suffering moment to get us to what we needed to be like as a great football player in those kind of moments in the game. Well, that was a common conditioning exercise that our coaches would put us through. There's also a common verse that we all know so well in the Bible. It's John 3:16. The second most common verse in the Bible is probably Romans 8:28. I've quoted it many times, and so have you during this time that we're going through with the coronavirus. We've all leaned on that verse. And Romans 8:28 says, "We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose." Christians, we love this verse because it says everything, that the good and the bad that happens in our lives will be used for a good purpose. And we love that. We're like, hey, it's for a good purpose, but for what purpose? To what end? And what is the purpose of things working out for the good? It kind of leaves us in the third quarter, and we don't ever make it to the fourth quarter to see what that conditioning, that call to obedience, that suffering, the long suffering that we went through, what is the end here? What's the end game? But the beauty of this is that in Romans 8:29, it actually pushes us towards that fourth quarter. Romans 8:29 says, "Whom he foreknew, those who are called according to his purpose, whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son." That's the purpose. That's the purpose, the good and the bad. Everything that works out in our life, God is using that to work towards a purpose. That purpose is to conform us into the image of his Son. You see, that's what God wants for us. That's the end game. That's the win. When we look back at all the good and the bad and the ugly in our lives, that conditioning that we've gone through is to get to the point where God has us as the image of his Son, Jesus Christ. Our lives follow the same pattern of testing that Jesus followed. Think of Hebrews 5:8, which says, "He learned obedience by the things which he suffered." We're learning our obedience to be like Christ through this suffering, not just the good, but also the bad. As Jesus proved his sonship by his obedience, we are conformed to his image by ours. So, whether today is good or bad in your sight, no matter what's going on today, it will and it can move you closer to the image of Jesus. I want to give you a quote to close. A.W. Pink says, "God is working out his eternal purpose, not only in spite of human and satanic opposition, but by means of them." God bless you. I hope that today you know that you are working toward a purpose of becoming more and more like Jesus, the image of God's Son. God bless you. Bye-bye.